Hello. Oh, I can't hear you, Sarah.
Ah, when I hit my mic button, it didn't go. But yeah, thanks for everybody who's joining us now and later for coming for another episode of What Katie Draws, episode 2.
Yeah,
And you decided what you wanted to draw
yeah, I
days
decided
ago,
that,
I think.
yeah, I did. I decided that because Cthulhu is Hard to Draw has just like funded on back a kit and now it's on Kickstarter for a few days for the people who want to back it on Kickstarter. I'm going to draw Cthulhu because why not?
Yeah,
Like,
Cthulhu's good.
I, yeah, I just feel like doing a bit of like Eldritch horror for a while.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, have you got
So,
any UHS news?
you said it already. The Cthulhu's Hard to Spell is well, I guess let me put up the ticker here because I've got to change it to the correct. But you can get it on Kickstarter now, uhstudios.com/kickit2, and you'll get that just for like I think it's like 2 weeks. So if you want to do that, you better jump on it now. And I think that's all that I need to that I wanted to mention today. So otherwise, we can just jump right on into the drawing, unless you had some news, some Katie news.
Well, I had my first Comic Con this weekend, which was fun. I nearly didn't
Sweet.
get there because of dog illness and stuff, but yeah, it was pretty fun. And there were so many Funko Pop stands. Amazing. It was like,
Oh yeah,
but
Funko is huge.
yeah, and they still didn't have the ones that I wanted. So,
Of
in
course not.
no. So, should we? I'll just add my.
Let's yeah, let's have at her. You just go right
So I
ahead.
have actually kind of like scribbled some ideas down just for poses and stuff to start with. I think I'm just going to go for the top one, but I also screen grabbed what Cthulhu is supposed to look like just to remind myself. So it's yeah, because
Sure,
I've
like
seen pictures.
what Lovecraft described Cthulhu as.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to miss anything out on the description, so that was what I was doing on the couple of days ago when I decided to do this because I thought, you know what, this will be quite a good thing to do and a bit more prep than having the random generator thing. So, um,
Yes, the random generator's fun, but I think that as we get to doing this more and refine the uh procedure of the
yeah,
show, I
I think so.
guess, then we'll figure it out.
So
In the
this is the
meantime, everybody watching should still comment and make suggestions on what Katie should draw. And maybe
yeah.
she'll pick that.
I will. Yeah, any suggestions? I'm quite happy to take suggestions as well. Um, yeah, so this is the two sketches that I did. I must admit, I did them with a mouse whilst I was watching TV, so they're not very good. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to go and get my tablet. So yeah, that's mouse sketches. But I think possibly I'm going to do the top one as I think that's kind of a bit more dynamic. So um, yeah, I'm not going to bother like transferring it over because really there's nothing there. So not really. But I'm going to kind of loosely use that as a reference because I know what it means, even if other people don't. So so yeah.
Works for me.
Yeah, I should have had some spooky music for this, really, shouldn't I? That's the one thing that I forgot.
Uh, I might have some spooky music. I would have to look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what sort of music goes with like Lovecraftian stuff, but so let's.
It's I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I'm on the wrong color. Help! Don't want to do it white. Um, so I'm just going to go straight in with the actual oil paintbrush this time, rather than doing like a line drawing because it's line drawings take kind of a long time. So and you can block out things quite easily with this. But does he have ears? I can't remember. Do people?
It depends on what. what interpretation you're looking at, because sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like octopuses don't have ears, but they have like a thing there. 'Cause I remember because I made a kraken creature. Do you remember the kraken thing I made in the 3D program?
I do, actually, I do.
Was it you that called him Barry? Someone called him Barry.
That sounds right. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I need to go back and start learning how to use ZBrush because yeah, it's complicated and I can't remember any of the shortcuts. And yeah, I need to go back and do my courses that I was doing with it. So
Fair enough. I have. Oh, I don't know, man. Oops.
yeah, it's one of these things that I
Go.
decided to teach myself how to do, and then just absolutely bogged down in comic stuff.
Yeah, I do enjoy watching. I don't know if you I don't know, but you haven't done 3D stuff in a while. But I do like watching your 3D drawing progress because you don't do that nearly as often as you do the other, 2D stuff. So
No, well, it's just
and
what I've got like on at the time, I guess. But I'm gonna. The trouble is, it's trying to make him not look like Zoidberg. So but,
yeah. I think that most depictions of Cthulhu that I've seen, he doesn't have like traditional ears, but he has
yeah,
like tubes coming out of the side of his head, like little
that's
that
what I'm
look
gonna.
kind of ear-like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I just went and Googled and looked because I was like, sometimes I've seen him with like little baby wings on the sides of his head, like those are his ears, but that never looks quite right to me, and that's certainly not the way that I see him done most
no, I
often.
mean that's kind of it's like does the cute Hulu have that the model thing?
Um, that's a good question. Let's find out.
Because he does have wings, but I think
Yes, he
those.
has wings, but I think he has the tubey type ears as well.
Yeah,
Why do I have
yeah.
8 million
This
things in
tends
this
to be how
folder?
I draw stuff quite a lot anyway. Because I don't usually go for the line art thing. I'm trying to teach myself how to do the line art a bit more often, but
Yeah.
it's not really something that it's not the way that I learned to draw. I mean, I can try and do it, but
I am thinking, okay, so I think it does. Cthulhu, baby Cthulhu does have little ears, little ear flappies.
is
Yeah,
it?
I
I wonder
will.
how big he is. Like, I'm assuming he's pretty gargantuan, but
You mean like the actual model or like
oh no, the
Cthulhu?
actual Cthulhu. I suppose he can be as big as anyone wants him to be, but
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on. I guess it depends on the person watching or the person that's envisioning him. Um,
yeah, I'm kind of assuming
um,
he's pretty big.
he's like mountain sized at least. He's very big.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I burped. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So I am gonna put Baby Cthulhu up here so you can look at him. There he is. See, he's got little ear flappies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's kind of cute. I think it makes him kind of too cute though in a way. But yeah.
I would whoop. There we go. I would have to say that he probably like I would think that he grows out of that as he gets bigger because he's a baby, and then he becomes scarier. Like he's supposed to be cute right now, but
Yeah.
chibi like almost.
Yeah, I mean look.
I cannot wait to see these things up close. They're so freaking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just quickly looking at some of my pictures I downloaded just for some ideas, because some people seem to do a lot more tentacles on the face than other people do. Yeah. And some people do like multiple eyes and stuff like that, which I kind of like. That's kind of cool. So
Yeah. I did a couple of little Cthulhu. Oh, I guess they just like a sticker design. Really, it wasn't really a fully formed anything, but good enough that I could get away with putting it on a sticker if I wanted to. But I don't think that I added more than 2 eyes. I think it was just 2 eyes.
I wonder if he would have webbed hands. But he's like a sea monster thing.
Yeah, he's a sea monster, so yeah, he's a god of the sea.
Yeah, it makes sense to me that he would have webbed hands.
Yeah, but then also he's a god, so he can do what he wants. Doesn't need to be bound by the laws of physics. But yeah, a lot of as I'm looking at when I googled to see if any depictions of ears, I see a lot of people's artists' renditions do have webbing in between the fingers too, but a lot of them don't.
I mean, everyone seems to drawing with wings that couldn't possibly ever fly, but.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Lovecraft, I think, sketched the Cthulhu sitting on the stone.
Yeah, I saw that. I think he was a better writer than he was an artist.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, like he did. I guess he's probably a better artist than I am at this point in time. But hopefully, I can overtake him before I quit drawing ever, which is not gonna happen probably, until I die. And I'm never gonna die, so it's never gonna happen.
I don't think anyone should ever quit drawing, even if they get disheartened. It's, you always gonna learn something.
I paused drawing for a long time, but never actually quit. And even people who don't draw professionally still, everybody sketches something here and there throughout their lives, and shouldn't do it if you just because you think you're not good at it. You should draw anyway. Just do it. Do it if you think it's fun. If you find it fun, then, and you're not hurting anybody, that goes with anything. If you're not hurting anybody and it makes you happy, just do it. You don't have to be good at it.
You don't need to be
you think that you're doing something bad right now, if you think that you're doing a bad job at what you're doing right now, you just need to remember that there is somebody out there in the world right now confidently doing it really wrong, and it couldn't possibly be that bad. And you should have that kind of confidence too. And I think I'm pretty sure I read that on Tumblr. I don't think that I came up with that myself. I mean, I know I didn't come up with that myself, but I think I read it on Tumblr. Every time you think you're doing something badly, there's somebody confidently doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get better at something, you have to be prepared to suck at it to start with. I didn't start out being able to draw.
Yep. That's number one thing that I tell my nieces and nephews is that the very first step to being good at something is to suck at it first.
Yeah.
And as somebody with ADHD, I find that super weird and frustrating, because with ADHD, I am pretty sure it's not just a me thing, it's an everybody thing, where you want to be good at it immediately, and if you're not, you want to abandon the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got that as well, but I just liked drawing. I like the challenge of learning how to do new things as well, so. Yeah, he's kind of looking angry and splashy, I guess.
Angry and splashy.
Yeah, I might, change things a little bit as I'm working on him. Although this one's not going to get a butt like Cute Thulu, so. I might change the canvas size. Something that's really cool on Clip is that you can just drag it and it remakes the canvas shape, so which is something that you couldn't do on Photoshop, I think.
Yeah, Photoshop, you had to go into a bunch of menu junk. Illustrator's slightly easier than Photoshop to change the canvas size and dimensions and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's nice to be able to just grab and drag. That seems like a really fun little feature that that Photoshop and Illustrator definitely don't have. And yeah, Procreate doesn't do that
I'm
either.
not sure if it's a new feature. I don't remember doing it before, but then I didn't really change the canvas size in that direction as much before, because I kind of like went for the shape that I was going to be going for. But maybe move them across a bit and give it a bit more of a dynamic sort of positioning. Yeah, move them across. Like I think just in the middle is a bit. Yeah. We could have a little boat or something.
Something for him to attack.
So I think now I might lock that layer off, because last time I drew on the wrong layer, which and it was quite annoying.
Always fun.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, like a steely blue-grey sky maybe, and try and set the atmosphere a bit. Try and do some. I really hope my dogs don't kick off, because I can hear someone in the garage behind us. Spot. Shush. He's woofing because he can hear people in the garage nearby. I'll try to start off with blue first. I think I mentioned before that I don't like using a white canvas to start with, because it affects colors and things.
Well, you've told me that, I guess. I think that you said it last week.
Yeah, I can't remember. Let's give it a bit more of a thundery looking sky.
Definitely a solid choice when we're talking about Cthulhu, because I'm not sure if the weather if he can manipulate the weather, or if it's just a thing that happens, like he's so scary the weather just changes. I don't know.
I don't know. I must confess I've never actually read the original stuff. I think I've got it on audiobook, but I've just got so many audiobooks. It's kind of like the equivalent of the bookcase full of books that no one ever reads because they don't have time. So
I have one of those. It's not a bookcase, it's a stack, but it's my emotional support book stack. Like it's not for reading. It's just to make me feel better.
I have 2 bookcases full of books, which I've read a lot of them, but because I do a lot of drawing these days, I don't seem to have time to read, so I tend to have them on audiobook and then go through all the same audiobooks all over again, because I like my favorite ones, which I think is also an ADHD thing.
Yeah, definitely. I will, when I'm working, I like to have a TV show on, and I never put on anything new, which
no.
When I'm working on stuff is actually a good thing, because I would hate to get sucked into a new story while I'm trying to complete a task.
Yeah, I mean, I find it quite difficult as well. I started watching The Boys when I was doing stuff, but I find it too engrossing, so then I'd end up like not
it's
drawing.
Problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, so I like to do things kind of blocky to start with, and just build things up gradually. I mean, even though I've got it like this now, I may go back and change it later on. It doesn't necessarily mean it's how it's supposed to look.
It already looks spooky.
I live quite near the North Sea, so I've seen the sea quite rough a few times before. Although I don't think we get quite the sort of waves you get on the Atlantic, but the colour is certainly sort of grey blue.
I don't live near. I live near a big river. I don't live near the sea, but live near the Mississippi, which uh, it can get choppy. Not choppy like the ocean, but it can get choppy.
Yeah.
Enough so that I could probably have reference, like a real life reference for a close up type of thing like this, but I wouldn't be able to do waves crashing into the beach or anything like that, because.
Yeah.
Whoa. Are you angering your computer? I just saw that the loading screen there for a second and then it went away.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, it does the saving thing.
Oh, is that what that was? Yeah. Autosave is good. If your program uses autosave or has autosave, you should definitely enable that.
It does it, but it's also very annoying because then it kind of lags for a few seconds whilst it does the loading thing. The saving.
I think I would take that though, because I otherwise forget to save
And then it crashes.
Yeah, especially like being that I work in Adobe stuff a lot. And you know how Adobe, like they way back in like CS2, I want to say, they identified that massive leak, memory leak, and they never fixed it. They just made it so that the program could withstand the effects of the leak for longer or something. I don't know. But eventually it will always crash.
I never got that. I did have CS2, but I never really gone on with Photoshop for drawing with.
Mm-hmm.
It was good for doing photo editing and stuff like that, but
right.
Again, it just seemed to be so laggy. It's
Yeah, it's I don't know. I never really had the tools that worked for me to draw digitally, so I did do a little bit of messing around with painting in Photoshop, but actually I used GIMP a lot.
Yeah, it was the first one I had was Coral Painter, so that was way back in the day when I was like, I don't know, 15, 14, 15 sort of age, and yeah, I just used to mess around with that quite a lot, although it is good, but I just find that the RIF files they're not very compatible with anything else. So you have to have Painter, otherwise you can't open the files, which is a bit annoying because I have stuff that's still saved in the RIF and I don't have Painter anymore.
Sure.
Well, I probably have the stuff somewhere, but
think though, well, first of all, you should check and see if Clip Studio can open it, because a lot of these programs do that now, but
I don't think they can. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Otherwise, I bet somebody out there has like one of our friends, has Corel and would be willing to, we'd throw some money at them and be like, hey, can you convert all these files to a Photoshop file or a Procreate file or a Clip Studio file or something that my program can open? Because I'm pretty sure that Clip Studio can handle Procreate as well.
One of the things I was finding a problem with was that in the very first files that I saved from RIF files was that it had the pixel aspect ratio, and you could set the pixel aspect ratio to not be square. And for some reason, it would automatically save them as like rectangular, so everything was really, really stretched, which is a weird thing. They kind of later versions of it didn't just seem to do that automatically. I think they fixed it, but it was very strange for a while.
Huh. That sounds kind of cool, though, that you could change the shape of it. That's interesting.
I don't know what use it was, but
I am looking for a flash drive that I don't know where it is.
Well, this is kind of, it's good enough for a background color for now, I think. I do tend to go.
I thought it was looking pretty cool, like I do 5 minutes ago.
I do go through and like refine stuff quite a lot.
Do you feel like that doing this streaming your art thing will help you get faster? You're not in a position where you need to be fast right now. You don't need to be fast with all the stuff that you're doing right now. But eventually you might find yourself in a position.
The more you do stuff, the faster you get. I mean, I have certainly been getting faster than I used to be. But
sure.
What color is Cthulhu supposed to be?
Oh, I usually see him as green or blue-green. But again, whatever color you feel like. I've seen him in kind of purpley colors, and I saw him done in red once, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen it, and I'm not sure if he was like red because of some lighting thing, or if he was like red, like actually red.
Yeah, I might duplicate this so that I can just kind of go in and smudge about a bit with on the wrong brush. That would help. Be a sort of grey-green color. The thing is that the light would affect the color as well. Right. So you always have to kind of take into account the light, the color of the light, when you're drawing something, because it really does affect things. It's like a lot of my pictures look dull, but that's because I'm in Scotland, so there is no light most of the time.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I did when I was looking at the stuff for the Kraken. I'd saved loads of like Pacific giant octopuses and stuff. They're quite red.
Yeah, most of what I see of Cthulhu, he's green. He's very some shade of green, and I suppose that's probably the classic color. But honestly, I think he can. I mean, he's a mythical creature. He can be whatever the color you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't suppose that there's like, well, there may be an official color, but
I have no idea. I just, he's most often depicted as green. I don't know if he's actually. Let's see. Cthulhu color. Looks like Lovecraft said the thing of the idols, the green sticky spawn of the stars, had awakened to claim his own. So he's green sticky spawn, whatever the fuck that means. I would say, like green, like the sea, because he lives in the sea, and it makes sense.
What kind of frog-like green if he's sticky?
Yeah, but like he says, he's green, sticky spawn of the stars, and that is it. Like it doesn't even mention what shade of green. So yeah.
Someone give that man a Pantone chart. If he wasn't dead.
Yes. Yes, that does make a difference, doesn't it?
I was listening to the Overly Sarcastic Productions thing on him. It was an interesting guy.
He was something. Yeah. I've gone through, in my leading up to I've known stuff, and like I knew more about Cthulhu than I realized that I knew, and I think that is largely true of everybody who consumes pop culture, because the influence is everywhere and you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it unless you're a hardcore Lovecraft fan. Yeah. And you gotta say, you gotta look at it and be like, holy shit, it is everywhere.
It's kind of like if you've ever watched Planes, Trains and Automobiles and you see it in everything. It's like there's so many things that have actually referenced it, and you wouldn't know it unless you'd actually seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know what mouth to give him under these tentacles. I'm assuming he would have kind of a freaky mouth, maybe like a lamprey or something. Oh, that would be creepy, like all the teeth. Yeah.
Eyes are so gross. Oh, yeah. I've never seen one up close that's alive. I can only imagine it's way more horrifying. I saw a dead one. We had to dissect them and high school. Ugh.
Oh, we never had to dissect anything.
Is that an American thing? Do only Americans have to dissect animals in high
Well, no,
school and grade school?
my mom had to do it at her school, but I think it's like health and safety and blah blah blah. We never had to do it in mine, but then again, it could have been if you do like biology and stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
It
I
could
don't
have
know. I
been.
mean, it makes sense to me to have to do it for biology class if you're taking biology, but like at a college level.
Yeah,
Because in high school, you're not training, you're training to go to college. You're not training to go into a biology centric job. So
no,
why
and
waste
I
the
imagine
time
there
and
is
traumatize young people who
yeah,
don't have
there's
fully
probably
formed
health and
brains?
safety things as well because you'd be like bacteria and
Hmm.
all sorts of things.
Yeah, and you know well, I mean, they put the, what is it, formalin, the stuff that they pickle the animals in that
Formaldehyde,
smells awful.
yeah,
And
formaldehyde.
they, do they use, I don't think they use formaldehyde for ones that are intended to be dissected because it's toxic. I think they use something else. But that's not the point. Like, it's probably meant to make it sanitary because
Yeah.
kids are by and large terrible at hygiene. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
well, I'm like, other people view me as a like fully grown, fully fledged adult, and I'm sitting here going, I'm not that great at hygiene either. I'm a messy person, and like, I'm pretty sure I was washing my hands wrong for the how many years I was alive before COVID-19 because I didn't know you were like the whole having your hands soaked up for at least 30 seconds. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. Nobody teaches you how to. Maybe it's different in other countries again, but like in this country,
No,
nobody taught us how to wash our hands. They just were like, you have to do it. They didn't actually. Then you were supposed to observe other people, but nobody actually came in and said, this is how you do it right.
I think I'm gonna swap this over onto here. So I don't need that full screen. Yeah, there we go. That gives it a bigger area now, so you can see it a bit better. I don't really need the sketch anymore, so
Looking pretty scary already. I mean, in a good way. He's not looking scary like bad drawing scary. He's looking scary like he's Cthulhu scary.
I want to kind of make him. Thing is, I kind of want to make him shiny, but I also don't want to make him look small. If that makes sense. Maybe get some atmospheric sort of stuff going on with him. Ah, that's too
Yeah.
bright. Yeah,
I'm
too
gonna yield to you on all of that because you're the expert there. You're the light queen. Like, you do the stuff with the light that is so good. I don't know what I'm doing with light. I'm just starting to get the idea of like, oh yeah, like the top of their head should have more light than the bottom. Like the chin should be dark. Like that kind of stupid stuff that's pretty freaking basic. I'm bad at light. I'm okay.
Quite happy to do like a session on lighting because
Yeah. I think that would probably be something that a lot of people would be interested in.
yeah. I mean, I must admit, I come at this from like more of a traditional painting background. It's not like I don't usually do comics, and I do digital artwork, but so a lot of the techniques that I use, the painting techniques, are from learning with actual paint, so it's a little bit different. But it's the color theory and everything's quite. That's what it teaches you. It's looking very Cthulhu-ish. No, I think.
Yeah, very Cthulhu. Yes, it's definitely looking like Cthulhu.
I know he's supposed to have big claws, so. Oh, it was prodigious claws, I think it said, but that's just.
Prodigious.
I did a sea monster for Moana for one of their books, and yeah.
I remember the coloring book, right?
Yeah, and that was quite fun doing the water sort of dribbling off it.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about it being a challenge for you because you're not used to drawing like line art.
Oh no, that was for the dragon that I did. I did a sea monster as well.
Ah,
I did
so
line art dragon. It actually probably took longer than the actual full sea monster because I am really slow at doing line art.
that's fair. That's fair. I
I mean, people like Fish and D just completely blow me out of the water with how fast they do stuff. It's unbelievable.
mm, yeah, ugh, I would love to be able to go quickly at any part of that. You know, certainly the sketch part of the drawing process, but yeah, like any of it, if I could do quickly, would be awesome.
The more you do it, the faster you get, though. I mean,
Definitely, I'm definitely faster than I was even a year ago. And
yeah.
I'm not like I don't sit and draw every single day like you do. Um, well, you
In
know,
theory.
most days, but
I once did a teaching thing where it's like you need to be drawing every single day, and I just sat there like for like 2 weeks beforehand, just filling an entire sketchbook to show what you should be doing, but it's just not something I do anymore. But I did do it when I was learning to draw. I just got too much stuff to do these days, but it does
well,
help.
once you get to a certain skill level, you can get away with it. But
Yeah,
if you want to be at that skill level, you can't get away with it. You have to legit draw every. And it's also much easier to do the stuff like that when you're a kid, when you're younger.
oh yeah, and I mean like Fish and Dee, they've been doing it for a very long time, so um, experience does help.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope that Fish is feeling better because he had to cancel his stream this week, and which was a shame.
Yeah, it's he said he was Tourette's, right? And I think it's really great that the way that he posts it for everybody to see, because if you don't see that stuff, then you don't know what it is, and then you make stupid generalizations based on that one movie that you saw in the early 2000s that showed what Tourette's was like when it was
Well,
completely
I remember
inaccurate.
it from oh, there was Big Brother had a guy with Tourette's on
Hmm.
one of the times. I can't remember. Was it Pete he was called? I can't remember. I don't really watch Big Brother, but my dad did. So, um,
Neither do I. I just remember it being a joke on Deuce Bigelow, and that it didn't occur to me at the time that it was how offensive it was to
yeah,
somebody with, and of course at the time I didn't know that I was neurodivergent, and I thought, well, that's a weird. Why is it even considered a disorder if that's a behavioral thing that seems like it could be managed? And yeah, like
yeah,
they don't accurately portray it at all. It is so much more than just inappropriate outbursts of verbal stuff.
yeah. I mean, I even watched a documentary on it, and they never like said that it was. You know, they always sort of focused on the vocal tics and stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
so
that's the stuff that other people can see, so that's the stuff that other people care about. But like, just like ADHD is, there's so much more
yeah,
the than just the stuff that like. I
hyperactive
mean,
little boy is what everyone seems to think. You know.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's the whole diagnostics criteria, like the whole list of stuff, is based entirely on what other people observe in an ADHD patient that irritates them, that they consider a disturbance, a disorder.
Yeah.
And
Whereas, you know,
that's what the diagnostic criteria is. It's like there's just a
yeah,
lot
I
more
don't
than
even
that.
hyperactive because I certainly am not hyperactive, but I have got the like memory problems and the just like squirrel, you know,
Yeah.
it's the complete, you know, getting distracted by everything, which is, you know, makes it really difficult to finish paintings as well because I really hate finishing things. I love starting things, and you know, it's interesting when you first start things, and I get about halfway through it, and I just can't stop working on it anymore.
Yep. And with painting and drawing, like there's never a definite ending. There's no finish line to cross. It's like it's done when you think it's done, when it feels done to you.
I think I
Whereas,
saw something once which was paintings are never finished; they're just abandoned, which kind of makes so much sense to me.
I'd say it because like stuff that I consider done, like well, you went to art school too, you know. Like you thought you were done with the painting, and then your teacher was like, "No, this you're not. It's not finished enough. It's not developed enough." I got that a lot. It's not developed enough.
Oh no,
And
I
I'm
didn't
sitting
get
going,
that.
"What does that mean?"
My art tutors at my university were only there once a week to criticize you, and yeah, they didn't really like the realistic stuff. So I even had one of them tell me that I could do things that they couldn't do, and it's like, well, why am I paying you to teach me that? It's like, yeah, art college is in from my experience probably better than university. Although I kind of wish I'd known about the place in Edinburgh that's like the Atelier School, which is they teach the old masters techniques with the oil painting and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you get live drawing about multiple times a week. We only got it once every 2 weeks at my art school. The only trouble is it's like the cost of what I cost me for like 3 years of university would have been the first year at that Edinburgh place, which is a shame. But I still would have paid it if I'd actually known about it, if back in the day.
Hmm.
Just kind of getting the basic shape down. I think he's getting there. Need to well remove that layer there, and then just get rid of some of these lines in the background now and start tidying him up a bit. Just kind of, hold on. If I take off too much, I can just draw it back in. So that one of the things for realistic paintings is that you don't want it to have a hard outline on the realism stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, possibly why I find it so difficult to do the line art is because I've sort of trained myself to remove all of the lines.
It makes sense.
It was my dad that sort of taught me how to draw to start with. So he taught me to draw by drawing an owl because my dad's a good artist. He just doesn't do it anymore, but um, he taught me how to do the eyes and then take out all the line art and stuff, and just provided critiques and stuff for me, which I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of kids probably they don't get that encouragement from their parents, especially in places that sort of are cutting the art programs because they want to save money.
Right. And then also that yeah, a lot of people that want to be artists have parents who are not artists, so they can't get that same.
Oh yeah, and I knew a fantastic artist. He was really, really good, and actually one of the reasons I became a wildlife artist because he was so good and so realistic. But his parents just wanted him to be a lawyer, so they were not impressed by him trying to be an artist at all. And I think in the end, he stopped painting for a very long time, which is a shame because his stuff's beautiful.
That's a
And
bummer.
one of the reasons I became a wildlife artist to start with. So
Sucks. Ugh.
I'm just lucky that my parents were quite supportive of my artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have my parents are not artists. I didn't have the same kind of support structure, and I definitely think it makes a difference. Like there wasn't really there's no art program to speak of when I was a kid, going to school in a small town. So
Yeah.
being an artist wasn't something that you were gonna do. Like that wasn't something that people decided they wanted to do. They were just arty for fun, but they didn't actually like when it was career day, you didn't pick artist as a career.
They probably just told you you'd never make money out of it, which is, you know,
Kind of true.
it's very difficult to make money out of artwork, but it is possible. You're just very, very lucky if you can do it as an actual career, you know, that has enough money to pay your mortgage and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I'm thinking if I should maybe put some like rocks and stuff around him, so like jagged rocks to make him look bigger. But like, I can just try it. Let's try that. It's oops.
A little
Jagged
mountain or something.
something. See if it actually gives it a bit of grounding, maybe. I can always remove them. It's on a layer that if I don't like it, I can just take them off.
Yes.
Because that would have, oops, maybe not what I'm wanting. The trouble, I do like using this brush because it blends really well, but it's not very good if you're trying to do subtle things. Airbrush down. Oh, that's my airbrush. Right, there we go. Some of the custom brushes change the icons, which is a bit irritating.
You gotta relearn that. I guess it's not the worst thing that could happen, but
Yeah.
still.
What do you think? Does that ground it a bit? Make him look a bit bigger?
Yeah. Yeah, it adds some foreground points of interest as well. Like, is Cthulhu there's still number one.
Yeah.
As far as what we're looking at here. Like, that's the first thing my eye is drawn to, but then the stuff in the foreground. And definitely works, helps, yeah, for the size. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's very difficult to tell how big something is if there's no perspective in the foreground. Like, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Caught the button. What do we do? Some sea rocks and stuff. I'll have to. Yeah, so that's kind of a bit more like it. We'll maybe try and blend him into the background a bit now. One of the things I find quite difficult is getting the actual scale right with these things. It's, you know, the just getting things to look big.
Mm-hmm. The rocks in front definitely help make him look bigger. But yeah, like without any other frame of reference, I can see the issue.
Yeah, and I think it helps having him filling the frame as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have to just go back and make those rocks a little bit better, but that's one of the good things about using multiple layers and stuff is that you can just add stuff in, decide if you like it, and then just get rid of it if you don't.
Very true.
So
I got the hiccups.
So one of the things that I like to do is to select background color for the light and then start blending that in, because it makes things look better if you have a very slight touch of the actual background lighting in the it makes it look part of the painting. So because all the different colored lights will affect the color it's underneath.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you'd immediately tell it was wrong if you had like yellow light on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just not that sort of day. It's I think it can actually ruin a painting quite a bit if you don't get the colour of the light right on stuff. And it just helps if you just select it a little bit, as long as it's the in the ballpark of the color it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's supposed to be sticky, but is he warty? Is he slimy?
I mean, I would say it would be like a slime coat like fish have, right? Because he lives in the sea. Makes sense
Yeah.
that it would be a slimy thing as opposed to something sticky. I mean, sticky. Can he live out of water? I've never seen him out of water. Except for like the statues that people draw of him, but
I don't know.
I mean
I
he's
mean, he
a
kind of
god, so you would think he can live wherever he wants to, but
yeah, but I mean, like you don't see Poseidon walking around in your head, do you? It's like if you imagine
exactly.
Poseidon, he's a giant dude in the sea with a massive trident, but he's not actually going on land. I expect he probably could, but I mean, if he's this big, I expect the water would help with the weight of him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're thinking about this too hard, but
I don't know. I'm googling. I'm checking out the Reddit threads about him, about Cthulhu.
he does have red eyes quite a lot and stuff, though. I quite like the red eyes, and red is um, I think it's a contrasting color to green, and so it does stand out more if you use a small bit of it. There was is it Turner did a painting that had like a little red boat in a very greenish sort of sea, and it really stood out. And that was why he used that color, was to actually get the get it to your eye to be drawn to it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It yeah, that's definitely doing something for it. It's pulling my eye directly to his eye.
Yeah.
And this oh, excuse me. This commenter says in Call of Cthulhu, it's revealed that Cthulhu is not actually a god, but rather a high priest of the outer gods. But
Well, that's
to
not
us,
terrible.
he's basically a god because he's so much more powerful and ageless than humans are.
Does it
So
say
I
what type of
guess
teeth he's got?
what?
Does it say what type of teeth he's got? Whoever's watching, whoever made that comment. Does Cthulhu have teeth? I don't know.
I mean, he must have teeth, right?
Not necessarily. You could swallow stuff whole.
It's true.
I mean, octopuses have a beak rather than a teeth.
Hmm. I mean, I think that the depictions of him that I've seen where you can actually see his mouth, he does have teeth in those, but I'm trying to find some kind of and like yeah.
I mean, he is.
Good boy.
It's really interesting that I've never even read the Lovecraft books, and yet, look, Cthulhu is just such a, you instantly recognizable creature.
Yeah, ubiquitous, yeah.
Hmm.
It's just everywhere. I mean, what's the Kraken? Yeah, the Kraken is tentacles and massive size and everything too. And I don't know which came first. Did the Kraken come first?
I would think that the Kraken came first. I'm assuming. When was Lovecraft from? He was.
Mid to late 1800s.
Hmm.
Let's
I don't
see.
know.
I'm googling. I'm gonna find out.
Consult the Google.
Oh, I don't want to know who would win. I don't care about that. Okay, this is saying like in the universes that Cthulhu is so old that his age would have 120 zeros. That's not what I mean. Like, when did the stories happen? Good lord.
He must be kind of bored if he's that old.
I would think that's yeah. Hmm. Let's see. First description of the Kraken. In a travelogue about Scandinavia, roughly 1700. So yeah,
Oh,
the
so
Kraken is older in our universe.
yeah.
Where the Kraken and Cthulhu are both stories, the Kraken is older by 100-something years.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It may have been inspired to create Cthulhu because of that.
I would have
reading
to
of that
assume, yeah.
chapter. I remember he was scared of boats or something. But
I think this, according to Lovecraft, I think that
no, I wasn't Lovecraft scared of boats, I think. Or was it a
Lovecraft was
boat?
scared of everything. Yeah, Lovecraft was scared of everything. According to Lovecraft, the he only supposedly has a mouth. So I don't think Lovecraft. I'm gonna keep looking here, but I don't know that Lovecraft actually even described him as far as like his mouth. He described him as he's resembles a green octopus dragon in human character, with webbed human-looking arms and legs, and a pair of rudimentary wings on its back. Now that's what Wikipedia says that Cthulhu is like, according to the Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
Which, yeah, he doesn't. It would seem as though he doesn't describe the mouth. So I think you should just make it look like whatever you want.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like adding a few more bits of shininess in now. Getting him look a bit more textured.
He would be shiny too, wouldn't he? Because he's wet.
Yeah. He's looking a bit more Cthulhu-y now. I'm still not sure about the mouth though.
Yeah. I can see what you mean. Like it looks. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't quite look.
No, right. I might
Right?
just like make it a bit more ambiguous.
Yeah.
Hole where the mouth is. But I quite like the
What
webbing
does
between the.
what does the octopus look like underneath their tentacles? Maybe that's what.
A beak, basically. It's like a sharp beak that they crush crabs with.
Hmm. So that would probably look kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? If you tried to
Yeah,
make it look like a beak.
I did try it to start with, but it looked a bit too silly, so. And we don't want Cthulhu looking silly when he's supposed to be like make people insane just by looking at him.
Very scary, yeah. I think the thing that I think I enjoy about, I might not be thinking of Call of Cthulhu. I might be thinking of a different the one about the Innsmouth. But it seems to be a theme in Lovecraft's stories that you hear so much about how scary these monsters are, and that they're beyond human comprehension, and they're just so terrifying, and they're so powerful, and they're immortal, and this and that and the other thing. And then the humans around you are doing such horrifying things that it makes you like, if you even get to meet the monster in the story, it's not nearly the big deal that it was supposed to be by the time you're done reading, because the humans always were scarier.
Yeah, I mean, I can quite see that.
Which is, yeah, like, and if you think about, well, first of all, the way that humans are, that makes perfect sense. But then also, if you think specifically the way Lovecraft was, which is to say, afraid fearful and hateful of everything. Everything. He was afraid of everything, and he hated everything except for what was directly around him, I guess. Like, God, it would be so interesting to be able to talk to the guy, wouldn't it? Because you could ask him as a modern human, like, why is it that you were so racist and so xenophobic and so homophobic, and yet you loved people who were of other cultures and other races and other and like his very best friend, who is the reason that we have so much of Lovecraft's stuff today, was gay.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't been around, we wouldn't even have Lovecraft's stuff to be so excited about. And yet Lovecraft, like, he was gay, and like all accounts point to Lovecraft being well aware of that fact, and he loved that guy. That guy was his best friend. So
Didn't he start like showing a bit of improvement in attitudes before he died or something?
he did. He was very he never stopped being a terrible person, but he definitely, like, he was very very hateful of the poor and very capitalist, and like he wanted, like, it was, if you were poor, you were a bad person. That was a character flaw. And you were,
and it was
not,
like the Great Recession or
yeah,
something.
he lost a bunch of money. His family lost all their money. He found himself on in the shoes of the people that he once scorned, and then he's like, you know what? Now I get it. So he didn't really stop being racist or homophobic or xenophobic, but he at least stopped being quite so hateful of the poor. I still think he hated them, but just less than when he was younger.
It could have been the way he was brought up as well, I guess.
Oh god, there's just so many things about the guy that that's like they all came together. And because so many people are say that you can't criticize him because he was a product of his time, and that's completely inaccurate, because he was super, super hateful even by the standards of his time.
Yeah.
And he was
you can still judge people for being a product of their time, because they were still decent people back then.
Yeah, you can absolutely still criticize people even though they were raised in a different time. That's like, if we stop criticizing people, especially historical figures who are dead now, like, they have no ability to improve anymore because they have lived their life and they're gone now. So they can't improve, but it's important that we point out their mistakes so that we learn from them, right? Isn't that a thing we're supposed to do?
I think so. It's also why it's important to like study history as well, because you got to learn.
Otherwise, we'll do the same things that we're doing right now, which is not learning from our mistakes.
I know, in theory, but it's like those who study history are doomed to watch people repeat it or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what I'm doing with the skin pattern here, but I kind of makes it very textured, I guess. I'm not sure if it's a pattern or if it's actually skin texture I'm trying to do, but he's still not very slimy or sticky. Because, octopuses are kind of wrinkly. They're not smooth. Let me see if I've still got my references for octopuses. Octopi? What's the plural for octopuses?
I think it's octopuses.
Or is it octopi?
I remember falling down a rabbit hole on that. And that's why I'm feeling confident that it's octopuses.
Okay, so I'm just going to drag some... figure out how to do it.
The Ocean Ocean Conservancy says it's octopuses.
Okay. I'm just going to drop in a few octopus pictures here just to give myself some reference. So, oh no, I'm going to confuse myself now.
So it says because octopus is derived from the Greek. So proper pluralization is to add the ES, not the I.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, whatever. We break so many of these rules anyway, why does that matter?
Might give him a bit more of a under eyelid thing, seeing as it's more octopus-like.
If it's Greek, then technically it should be octopodes.
Did you see My Octopus Teacher on Netflix? That was good.
No. I'll have to
You
grab
should
it.
watch it. It's very interesting.
I have so much stuff I have to watch.
Yeah. It was a guy that actually befriended a wild octopus that he's going to see it every day for quite a long time because they don't live a very long time. But it was really interesting. They're quite intelligent, really.
Oh yeah. There's a river museum, the river museum here, and they have an octopus, and I think they had it wasn't it wasn't the famous one where you kept hearing about the fish disappearing in the aquarium, and then
Yeah.
they finally watched the videos and saw that the octopus was leaving and eating the fish. But I think that the octopus here was getting out and letting other, like opening up other lids and cupboards and and I don't know if there were cages that there, because I think that it's all aquatic animals that are in tanks of some sort over there. But he was just generally being naughty because he was bored, because you can't put a smart animal in a cage and expect them not to get into trouble.
No.
Because if there's nothing else to do, they're going to get into trouble.
I like the one that I read where the guy fed it shrimp, but he didn't realize that one of the shrimp was off. It threw it at him. It climbed out of its tank just to throw the shrimp at him.
Well, he had it coming then.
Yeah, so I'm still not sure about how to make it look bigger though, because I don't know if the scales kind of make it look smaller in a way. Oh, okay, some of them. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that you can get ridged sort of creatures that look sticky, because I mean, slugs, they're not smooth creatures. They're kind of like quite a lot of ridges on them.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing that creates all the slime if you touch it? Is it hagfish?
That sounds, yeah, hagfish and lampreys both, don't they?
Yeah, but I think hagfish just make masses of it.
Yeah, I think the hagfish are the ones that are like that cause problems
Yeah.
with this.
I mean, there are probably like brushes and things where you can do the scales a bit better, but I like drawing them out by hand because you can make it a bit more like wrap the actual stuff around the shape you want to draw. What do you think? Is that looking a bit more scary? Less scary?
No, I like the extra texture. I feel like it's presenting. Well, it would be an issue for me, but for you, it's probably right exactly the kind of thing that you do. Because I'm like thinking about all those bumps and things. The water as it splashes down on across his body is gonna run between the bumps and things, and cause much more work for making him look wet and slimy. But for you, that's the kind of thing that you do.
Yeah, you do stuff like that just to give it a bit of.
But I like the bumps and the scales and
Yeah.
Scales? Are those scales? They're not really scales. But yeah, no, that makes him look more alive, I guess. More interesting for sure.
Yeah, so I really must read the Call of Cthulhu. I'm sure I've got it on an audiobook somewhere. I think I got like a Lovecraft collection thing on the Audible Daily Deal because, you know, I can't stop buying audiobooks whenever they're like £3 or something. I was doing my accounts and it's like most of the stuff I was spending money on was audiobooks.
That's not a bad thing, is it?
Nah, not really. But it did make me. Audiobooks are trees because, you know, planting trees is what I seem to be doing most of the last few years.
I do like my paper, my physical books, but I'm starting to come around to the idea of audiobooks and stuff because, like, I
But
would
it just,
actually consume the media that way.
yeah, because I mean, you can do it whilst you're doing other stuff. Like, you know, if it's not something that you have to think about too hard, like I don't know, you can't do it if you're writing and stuff. But if it's just like graphics work, drawing, that sort of stuff, they're great for having on in the background. I've been going through the Wheel of Time recently, which is 15 more books long or something, and they're all really long books as well. So I kind of like getting my teeth into a series like that. I did like the Game of Thrones and stuff as well.
Will that one ever even be finished? When's the last time he even released a book?
I think I read somewhere that he's struggling to finish it, but you see,
That's
the Wheel of
unfortunate.
Time, actually, the guy died before he finished it, so another guy finished it off. He
Mm-hmm.
did a pretty good job as well. I think there were notes and stuff, but he was a pretty good author anyway in his own right. So, um, I think the wife of the Robert Jordan actually approached him, just said, "Look, you know, we want you to finish this."
Mm-hmm.
The Amazon did a, I'm sure, I think it was Amazon did the TV version of it recently, which, you know, it was quite good, but not really all that accurate to the story. I think that annoyed a lot of fans was it wasn't they did a lot of strange things to the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It's still pretty good if you have never actually seen it, but never read it. Although nobody seems to argue as much as people about the Rings of Power.
Right now, anyway.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Wheel of
I
Time.
just I read the comic sections on the comment section on it just because I just well I never interact with people on them because you know
It's
I
a
think
waste of time, really.
but I find it interesting actually reading the comments section about the Rings of Power because people seem so divided over it.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of it. I don't know. I was a huge Hobbit fan as a kid, and then, but somehow I never read Lord of the Rings. And
I read it when I was about 10, so I
mhm.
mean I don't know that I understood it all when I was 10, but I certainly read it when I was. Um, and my mum got me this BBC radio production in 13 parts of that they'd done it as like it was a radio play rather than anything, so it
Sure.
had multiple voices and stuff. They had cropped it down a bit. I mean, Tom Bombadil wasn't in it because he's never in anything really, apart from one or two of the games that I've seen. But the that was really good, and I still have it somewhere. I used to listen to it at least once a year when I was a kid. But
That's
then again,
cool.
I kind of liked the actual. I was one of the people that actually liked the descriptions of the scenery and stuff because I know some
Mhm.
people think it was a bit too long-winded, but I liked it. I wasn't sure what I felt about the Hobbit movies, though.
The newer ones or the cartoons?
Yeah, the new ones. It's I kind of think it's in some ways some of the stuff that was added was a bit too over the top.
Sure. Yeah.
Although it did make me laugh with these people complaining that there was too much singing in it. As like, you've not read the book, have you? There's even more singing in the book.
Do you even know anything about The Hobbit? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no.
I'm kind of happy with how he's coming out so far. I think possibly I might experiment with giving it like a bit of my airbrush, like sea foam sort of effect as well, to try and give it a bit more of a maybe a misty sort of thing, just to try and drop it into the back slightly. Yeah, so if you got like the within coming out of the mist over the top, might experiment with that a bit just to see if it would help at all.
Definitely.
Well, I kind of like that, actually.
It adds to the spooky feel of it too. Spooky.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to. I don't know if you wanted to come back and pick up on this next week, or if you're just gonna keep working on it today. But yeah, because we're over our hour now, and it's you got a ton done.
Yeah, I can do it quite fast to this stage. It's the detailing stage that takes such a long time, but I'm happy with how it looks so far. I'll just see if anyone comments if they'd like to see me working on it more, or if they just do something different next week. But I think I kind of like how he's coming out.
Yeah, he looks really good so far. Well,
yeah, it's fun.
We didn't have any comments. Like, I can see that people are watching, but speaking of, J-Man just said I wanted to say hi real quick. Just got home from work.
Hi, J-Man.
Thanks for popping in. Since you're here, you can ask or let us know if you want to see Katy work on this more next week, or should she just work on it when she has time and we can look at it when it's done. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm down either way. I'm cool with either way.
We'll see if I can resist working on it before then.
That is a trick, yes.
Yeah. So I may I suppose I could possibly just try and do the rocks a bit better or something and see how I feel about that before we work on it again, because that could take a while, just messing about with stuff.
Yeah, I'm loving the details that you're adding to Cthulhu himself with the bumpies and it's gonna add a lot more depth and interest to him when it's all said and done.
Yeah, so that's with this fog and that's without. I actually kind of prefer it with in a way. Or
yeah,
maybe
I don't know. The fog is doing something for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Although I think it makes the rocks look a bit weird. I think if the rocks were in front of the fog, maybe a bit more obviously.
Yeah, I think that would probably be what I would do. But
wrong layer. That's the one. So yeah.
I wouldn't be nearly this far if I were doing it though, so
yeah, I think the rocks in front of the fog make it look sort of like distant, the atmospheric distance thing you get at the sea.
And that would help you with the size thing, because if you could see, if it was more obvious that the rocks are very close to the viewer, and that Cthulhu is far enough away to be shrouded in fog, and yet he's still that massive, that should help, right? That should help.
I think so, yeah. So maybe try and get some references for like stormy seas. I know I've got some somewhere, but I'm happy with how he's turning out so far. I thought I could maybe put some like lightning and stuff in as well, maybe.
Yeah. That's going to add a whole different light source to it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't know, because some people put like little bumpy horns on his head as well, so I don't know what this is saving it to because I haven't actually created a save file for this yet. It's like saving.
Well, at
Yeah.
least it's saving somewhere.
Yeah. Right, I think we can leave it for that for now, and we'll come back.
Yeah, we'll post it in the group and see what post it in Unlikely Heroes Studios. Oh Jesus, what is that? Presents Unlikely Heroes Studios presents awesome comics and other cool shit too. Is that the name of the group? Ah, the Facebook group. We'll post it. Maybe we can post it in Discord too, and post it on our Discord and see what everybody thinks. Like, do you all want to watch Katy work on it again next week? Because
or just something different. So
yeah.
I feel I might change that second hand a little bit to the positioning of it, or just make him slightly higher out of the water because it's kind of a bit too close to the sea at the moment. So
sure.
I'll think about it because I've been working. I tend to have a break before I finish stuff anyway. Because if you've been working on something a long time, it stops you being able to see the mistakes. So yeah, that's kind of what things does as well. So you can just
definitely.
But yeah, I think I might change that hand. So yeah. Anyway, we'll maybe think about what we do next time. So thanks for tuning in to watch, whoever's watching now or in the future, because it'll be on. You can watch it after the fact as well.
Yes, can do. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks to everybody who was watching, and we'll see you next week, I guess.
Yeah. I'll see you next time.
Right?